Hi, hello. It's been a while. Welcome to Hopeful Holler Makes, a podcast all about the fiber arts. Typically, knitting, spinning, weaving. Did I say weaving? Really hasn't been about weaving, but it might start being. I don't know why that just slipped out. I guess because it's stuck right in the front of my brain. My name is Michelle Holler, and this is a weaving podcast all about the fiber arts, sometimes deep thoughts, and my love of Blue October. So I'll just be updating you on whatever I happen to know is going on with them. So you might, if you're interested, go and check them out, follow them, and see what encouragement you might gain from Blue October like I do. So welcome, and I've missed you. I really have. I've decided pretty soon after our worldwide interesting situation of COVID began to roll out that I needed to just pull back and be very introspective, pay attention to all the feelings that I was feeling, and spend less time on Instagram, as much as I enjoy Instagram. And so with that, I have done a lot of spinning. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into spinning. So on one of my last Instagram posts, hey, and by the way, welcome back. If you've been here before and you thought, that's a shenanigan that I want to sign up for again, and you chose to hit subscribe and you came back, thank you. If this is your first time, welcome. I usually try and keep it at about 30 minutes, and I usually follow the same format. As I said, fiber arts, deep thoughts. Sometimes deep thoughts get in there before the fiber arts. And I always end with Blue October. So this is yarn that I posted a picture of on Instagram, and it was larger because it had this little baby added to it. So you can imagine that wound all the way around it. And then I decided it was time to do some romantic exploration. And by romantic, I mean, you know, just playing and having a good time with color. And I will be honest, there have been many times where color has scared me. You wouldn't know it by watching my podcast, but it's true. Especially when it involves applying dye to said yarn. So this is Shetland wool from Bays here in Texas, and I spun all of this on a supported spindle. And again, this is the same thing. And this is 2-ply, and this is just 1-ply. So let me go back to the knitting, back to the coloration. So I was having some beets one day. Sounds like it should be, I don't know, a dirty vegetable joke. I don't know why it has to be dirty. It can be a clean vegetable joke. I was having some beets one day, and I thought to myself, I've seen lots of things on Instagram about people dyeing yarn, dyeing wool, dyeing fabric with beets, and I thought that would be a beautiful color that I'd like to play with and work with. So I poured the beet juice in, and I'll be posting some things on Instagram this week about that experiment. I left it for a few days and it got really smelly, and maybe fermentation is part of the process that I'm unaware of. Maybe I didn't do all my research. It was stinky. My husband was saying, "What do you have going on?" My dog would walk into the kitchen and go, I could tell. I'm not a super sensitive sniffer, I like my candles and I like my essential oils, but bad odors, they have to get pretty bad before I'm really that bothered by them. Anyway, I poured out the liquid. Initially, let me show you, let's see. Initially what occurred, excuse that noise, I think it's somebody's air conditioner. It made this beautiful color. And I just thought it was gorgeous, which is almost this color, just a lighter version. But you know, that pukey smell, I couldn't leave it well enough alone. So the other thing I realized is I put it in a pot that it's an enamel pot and it has some chips. I only use it for dyeing and playing around with dye. After a few days, I'm guessing that added that mordant to it, so that will change the color of your dye one way or another. And I was going to add some alum, and I never got to the store because, you know, and I never got any alum. So then I thought, well, the iron, we'll see how that plays out. It was the ugliest color. I mean, there was one spot that was that pretty pink, like when I first put it in, but then it was just kind of a yellowy, orangey, non-attractive, natural color. And I thought, we're not gonna have that. So I have some jacquard yarn fiber dyes, and I decided to add this. Let's see, what is that? Oh, that's just a little piece of Shetland in there, Shetland brown wool. Added a little raspberry, I think, color, and a little purple to the dye pot. And I didn't move the yarn around. I just put it in the dye bath and let it do its thing. And I think it came out really beautiful. So on that note, I'm going to show you what I've been up to. Oh, sorry. So I had that spinning. You've seen that on Instagram if you follow me at A Hopeful Holler Makes. But then also there was this one that I spun. We'll just let them speak for themselves. They're huge. I spun those on my supported spindle. Telling you people, lots of self-reflection. Lots of reflecting on everything that's going on. Lots of reflecting on my making habits, my creative habits, my eating habits, my wine habits, and more on that later. Sorry, deep thoughts, just wanting to get right in there. So let me show you what I'm doing with some of that hand-dyed yarn. So this, oh, I love the way that really shows up. That is true to color. So this right here is waste yarn. This is a little Haquette, I think is how you pronounce it, loom. It's just a little beginner loom because I'm a little beginner weaver. And down here, this is waste yarn. So all of this will come out. That white will stay. I think that's called a header. And then this I hand spun and hand dyed all of this. And the brown is also hand spun, but it's just a natural brown Shetland color. So I am really pleased with that. So I'm taking a class with Rebecca Mezoff. She does online teaching of weaving, tapestry weaving to be exact. I've enjoyed certain types of weaving, well, not that many types. I've enjoyed basic weaving and some pattern weaving a little bit. I really enjoyed one of the first scarves that I made, and then that day someone very special came into my place of work and I just gave it to her, and so I don't have that one anymore, but it was just a basic weave. And I think it's fun to be able to just create something fairly quickly, because if you're a knitter or crocheter, even crocheting is quicker than knitting, but it's going to take a very long time to make someone a gift, or yourself the gift of a crocheted or knit shawl or scarf. Whereas weaving, I could make one in a day. It might take about 3 hours. Very quick. But I think with everything going on, I have really been reflecting on the abundance I have of my own hand spun yarn. I've talked about this a few other times, I suppose, but I'm really feeling the importance to use what I have, not in a way, well, let me preface this. There is an abundance of it, and I feel that it's going to waste by sitting there. And I feel that my friends' sheep and the fleece that they provide and the time that they put in is just going to waste if I don't choose to use my skills and abilities to work with what I have. And that goes really, really deep in my heart. And it's made me very emotional over this last few weeks. It's one reason I've stayed off of Instagram. I just wanted to sit with that and listen deeply to where that's leading us. So for right now, it is, I will do a giveaway on here. You can comment below your favorite, if you have a favorite, maybe it's one of many favorites, your favorite music group or person, singer, and tell me why. And it could be something really hard and heavy rocking, screamo. It could be, country hymns. I have no preference here. I want to hear from you. And we're going to do a contest with Miss Julie at Juju Knits. And I'm going to give away some of my hand spun yarn. So if you are a watcher of my podcast, please, or video podcast, please don't say winner or prize or anything like that in your comment below. Just please say what your favorite band, singer / are and why, because I'm so curious, and I think it might help others to find maybe new music to them that they've never heard of, that they could be encouraged by, or just something beautiful to add to their day. I know that for me, music is a huge part of my everyday life, and I do have a particular band that has, for the last 5 years, the soundtrack of my life, and that's Blue October. So I like sharing that with you, and I would love for you to share with us. So back to hand spun. These little rabbit trails. Look at this. Oop. I haven't cut off my ends or soaked it, but I was just so enamored. This particular little weaving, again, was done on the same beginner loom. And it's my own hand spun. I didn't dye this. This is Butterfly Girl. She's a friend of mine, and I always look forward to buying her bats whenever we go to a fiber festival. She is a local to me, Dallas, Fort Worth gal. So I just think that is the neatest little thing. Today on my walk, so I'll cut these long pieces off and they'll be even. Today on my walk with my sweet Sadie girl, someone had a store-bought tapestry I thought was really beautiful. It had Jesus. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It wasn't really a tapestry. I guess it was fabric, just fabric with Jesus printed on the front. But it was the same size and it had fringe like this, and it immediately made me think, oh, I could do that. I could put that in my rear view mirror. That would be a nice reminder of all the things that I hold dear, near in my heart while I'm on the road, especially during this time. Not that I'm on the road a lot during this time, but you know, eventually, maybe one day, yes. And then this is another one I did. This one I did yesterday. So this is, again, hand spun, and this is that natural Shetland wool. And then this is Fabulous Fibers, I believe, that I purchased at West 7th Wool years ago. So there are little loops up here, and you can put a little stick or a dowel. I like sticks. In fact, I made one and had a stick in it, and I believe I put it on top of our car and we drove away, and it must have flown off. So I hope that someone found it, and I hope that it's making them happy. I'll post it on Instagram. It's purple hand spun with a silver gray hand spun moon shape on it. It was pretty special, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. So, oh, transition. So with all of the spinning, I haven't done a whole lot of knitting. It's mostly just been spinning and exploring weaving techniques and thinking about different ideas that I want to put into a tapestry. So I do have this. I haven't sewn it into anything. I'm going to make it into a little pillow to just sit around. And I'm so sorry. If you search on Instagram home stitch home little cross stitch, I'm sorry, I can't give the credit to who the designer of this is. I meant to look and do show notes. I changed the colors all up, but I believe I showed that in progress on the last Instagram, on the last YouTube. And so I thought I'd show you that finish. What else do we have going on in here? Oh yes. Before I show you one more current work in progress, I want to tell you about Christy Clyburn pottery. So Christy Clyburn says, unique, handmade, one at a time. With God, all things are possible. This is the front. Look at her beautiful, beautiful pottery. I wanted all of her things, but I had to choose. Oh, that's backwards. I will link her on my Instagram, but I want to show you something that I've made a little purchase for. Isn't that sweet? So you can see it's about that big. And at this point in time, I'm using it for a couple of things. So for example, voila, not a complete yarn bowl, but for me, so far it works. Also, I like to put my scissors, or I have a little, oh, I didn't bring it up here, a little thing that I tap down my weaving with. So you put your lines in on your weaving, and then I don't know if you've ever seen Navajo weaving, you tap it down so you're pressing those threads together, and it's just a little tiny tool, and so I'll put that in there. Or my stitch markers when I've been working on a knitting project. And so again, that is Christy Clyburn pottery, and she is out of Wimberley, Texas. And so I do love my Wimberley, so just to give them a little nod. All right, my friends, I've shown you this before, I've discussed it before. This is the heart warmer. This is for my friend Pat, the shepherd of the sheep. that I spin from most often. Not the Shetland sheep, but the Rambouillet, in case you're following along at home. Those are my two favorites at this point in time, Shetland and Rambouillet. And so this is Rambouillet. And if anybody out there has made this before, I would love your help. I will probably end up messaging the designer of the heart warmer, but I messed up the smocking up here and I had to take it out. And usually I can read my knitting pretty well and figure out, okay, well, I don't want to get into the pattern too much because it would give it away. But I messed up. I was supposed to move a stitch marker, and then like right here, you're supposed to be able to add the smocking pattern right here and here. For some reason, it's boggling my mind right now. So I'll work with it for a few minutes, and then I just put it down and let my brain rest a little bit. And then I pick it up again in hopes that it's going to come to me. I've done this a couple of times. Try and do it only earlier in the day rather than later in the evening because it make me crazy. All right, so that is all I have for y'all today as far as knitting, spinning, weaving goes. Again, Rebecca Mezoff, I'll link her on my Instagram as well with pictures of my weaving. But some reflections from books that I've been listening to during this time away from Instagram are, there is an author named Mark Hyman, and he's written books about nutrition and about our food industry in America and worldwide. And this is something that most of my teenage and adult life I've been very interested in. And at one point I considered becoming a nutritionalist because I had my own issues that I wanted to work with, but it's never something I've actively pursued in that way, but I've just always been interested. So fast forward, getting a little older, hormones acting a little different these days, and learning a little bit more about autoimmune issues that I've had in the last 5 years, and how to work with those symptoms. And so Mark Hyman has a book called The 10-Day Detox 10-Day Sugar Detox, I believe. So what that is it is no sugar, no alcohol, and no caffeine. And so I am on week 3. On Wednesday, it will be 3 weeks. And I am feeling very good. I am not gonna lie, I really do enjoy my wine. I really, that's probably the thing I miss the most. So it's a hard thing to get into with what, 5 minutes left here, but it is definitely something I have enjoyed more than I needed to. Not that I was getting sloshy or anything like that on the weekends, but I realized that in combination with the caffeine and with things that would turn into sugar in my body, it was making me feel awful. And I was beginning to have some relapses of some fibromyalgia issues that I had dealt with a few years ago. And Justin of Blue October is doing a 12-step program right now, leading folks through the 12 steps. And I have experience in helping to lead a group similar to that called Celebrate Recovery. And I've been a part of 12-step programs in the past. And my husband and I have been watching every Tuesday, and Justin said one day, Well, if you're considering, like if you're just thinking that maybe you don't want to drink those 2 bottles a week anymore, now might be the time to stop. And as soon as he said that, I thought, it is. For me right now, it is the time to stop. And who knows if I'll enjoy another glass of wine, but today I'm not. Today I am enjoying my health, and I am enjoying having energy at almost 50 years old, and knowing how I have felt at certain times, and knowing my family history, and this far outweighs the glass of wine. Do I think about it? Yes. So I think for me, the weaving at this point in time has been a very natural progression. So I'm leaving one thing, a few things behind for now. Again, not to say that I won't ever, but today I'm not. And I'm exploring weaving. So it's something new, and it's something that's challenging my mind, and it's something that keeps me focused on problem solving when it's not really a problem. Weaving's not a problem. It's something that I'm very blessed and privileged to be able to explore, and I'm grateful for that. So with that, I am exploring weaving and not wine. So anyway, if y'all are interested, Justin has them all on YouTube, on the Blue October TV, I believe, Blue October TV YouTube channel. And what is most important that I want to say about Justin and Blue October, the rest of the band members, there is that little documentary I've talked about a few times. Well, it's coming out, and it's coming out this Friday. So you can watch it, you can stream it, or you can also buy a DVD. And I'm so excited. It's truly a hero's journey. Not to say that Justin's the only hero out there. I think all of us are heroes of our own stories when we choose to take the difficult and the painful things of our lives and work with that raw material and make something beautiful, come back to share our stories with others to help them. And that is why I'm here at A Hopeful Holler Mix. Full circle. I do believe in that, and I struggle sometimes with how much to share, because I grew up as an oversharer, and I trust myself, and I love myself in a way now that keeps me, for the most part, keeps me probably a little bit more vague, but at times I will share certain details, things that I have worked through, that I'm proud of, that I'm grateful for, that I'm thankful for the mercy to have gotten through those things on the other side, and things that I'm still working through, I probably am a little less apt to share. So anyhow, deep thoughts, 29 minutes and 5 seconds. Man, the YouTube channels go by so fast. Thank y'all so much for coming and visiting with me, and I pray that you have a very blessed couple of weeks. My plan is to come back in a couple of weeks. That's the plan. I hope you go see Get Back Up. Bye-bye. Oh, remember, everything's better with wool in a podcast. Bye.